The lines, what does it mean by the lines have been drawn? God told Jeremiah, I want you to draw a line. That's exactly it. On one side is destruction, on the other side is protection. I was asked by a big businessman, one of the biggest insurance companies of America. He was the executive vice president. That means the number one vice president. Big companies have many vice presidents. He called me up and he says, Henry, I want to make you an offer. I've heard your tapes. I've heard your teachings. I'm critical. I want to see how you work. I want to see what makes you tick. I'll pay all the expenses. I'll put you up first class. I want to drive you to 3 places in America, and I want you to tell me what God tells you. Atlanta, Georgia. Miami, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida. I prayed about it. The Lord said, give it to him. So I did. He picked me up at the airport. Him and one of his vice presidents under him. The two of them drove those cities. The night that we went into Atlanta, Georgia, we literally were in the sea or the horseshoe of a massive electrical storm. As we went into Atlanta, that electrical storm literally went around Atlanta, and Atlanta went totally black with a complete electrical blackout. Knocked out the power grid to Atlanta, Georgia. And he said to me, he says, now that's interesting. I says, well, I'm not saying I did it. I just sat in the back seat here, prayed. But I told you that I saw a massive storm that would accompany us into Atlanta. I had no idea it was going to knock out the full power grid. I mean, Coca-Cola, the headquarters of, of Coca-Cola in Atlanta, Georgia, went blank. The biggest Primerica, the biggest life and big company, insurance company, went blank. Everything went down. That city went black in that storm. We couldn't even check into a luxury hotel because there was no power. We had to drive for 2 hours out of Atlanta to find a hotel, one that he liked. We found one he thought might be all right. And they carried my suitcase into my room, what would be my room. About a 2-inch cockroach went running across the floor. He jumped up on what would have been my bed, hollering, kill it, now! I stomped on the cockroach, just kind of laughing, singing, la cucaracha, la 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 la. What you all upset about up there, man? What's the problem? It's just a cockroach. No, he says, get out of here. I'm going back. I'm canceling it on my card. We're not staying here. We'll find another. So we drove another hour and a half to find a place. 3:30 in the morning, we finally find a place that he satisfied. That caliber, all right? Didn't get steak that night. We spent most of the night looking for a hotel. Couldn't get one in Atlanta at his favorite restaurant because it was blacked out. Anyhow, so then as we were heading to Tampa, from Tampa, Florida, just beyond Tampa, we were going to go into Miami. And we took the Naples Highway from the Gulf of Mexico shore toward the Atlantic shore. I began prophesying utter destruction on the right, not a branch broken on the left. All the way across Naples Highway, that's what I prophesied in the back seat, while these two men laughed. We got to the plantation that evening. The plantation cost me $800 for my room that night.
Goodness.
I had my own private room, my own carpet that thick. The bed was a kingly bed. I had my own private swimming pool, my own private cook. If I wanted a massage, all I had to do was dial, which I didn't. They carried my luggage. The porter carried my luggage to my room. He had his own rooms, his estate, I'd call it. They were separate houses like. Each one had full kitchen and everything, dining room and everything, chandelier, the works. $800 for one night, it better have something. I kept telling him, look, don't spend that kind of money. He says, you be quiet. I told you I'd put you up in the best. That chunk of a place we stayed in last night, I'm not chancing it again. Thank you. 8 minutes. We're going to make it. So the next day we drove through Jacksonville, Florida. Well, he was very upset with me that day because the Lord said, don't even sleep in that bed. I spent the night on that soft carpet all night long praying. He was so mad. Came time for breakfast. I didn't want breakfast. I said, I'm going to fast today. He was so mad. Oh, he was mad. I spent $800 for you to sleep on the floor.
That's right.
Gruver, what's the matter with your head, man? This trip has proven me you got a problem, guy. You got a problem. I said, I know. We went through Jacksonville, Florida. I prophesied utter destruction on the right, not a shingle broken on the left. We got done. He brought me back to the airport, shipped me home. The next weekend, Jacksonville, Florida got hit by 6 tornadoes. On the news, he calls me up, this businessman called it, tune in NBC, now! Get it on your television, get it on now! They're showing it. Jacksonville, Florida. The newsman is standing on the very interstate. We went down through the middle of Jacksonville. He's standing on it, and he says, look people, utter destruction over there. Look at that. 6 tornadoes took that half of Jacksonville out. Now he says, look at this. The other side of this road, not a shingle missing. He literally spoke my words. That businessman went to the opposite side of Naples Highway, began renting warehouses, buying plywood and building materials for utter destruction to rebuild that area. I was walking eastern Turkey. This was the year after Desert Storm. I was walking the border of Turkey along Iraq. If you don't think that's dangerous, listen to some of the things I could tell you about that walk after Desert Storm. And nights I slept in many 5-star hotels. I could lay down on my sleeping bag and count many stars. But I kept hearing of this terrible storm that hit Florida. But I couldn't get any news in eastern Turkey. If it was there, it was in Arabic. I couldn't understand it. I got back from Turkey, flew up to Anchorage, Alaska. Don May picked me up at the airport, Full Gospel Businessmen president at that time. Drove into his garage door shut. He's a big businessman. From that, he carried my luggage through, past his wife's office, and she hollered, Henry, come in here. I thought, oh dear, what did I do wrong? I walk in there, I don't get all the way in. She grabs out of her in basket a newspaper and tosses it to me like airmail delivery. Henry, I don't know what this is about, but this is for you. I've had it here for weeks. Now, it's out of my in basket. Thank you. I said, hi Donna, how are you doing? I'm fine now, thank you. I don't know what that's about though. I open it up and I said, Donna, I know what it's about. The mystery of Andrew. That was the name of the hurricane. Naples Highway. Exactly in the headlines of the Anchorage Daily Star. The mystery of Andrew. Utter destruction on the right, not a branch broken on the left. People, it pays to hear the Lord. It pays to pay attention to what God is saying. In prayer walking or in prophecy or the destiny of a family, an individual, or a nation, God knows what's going to happen. And it's so important to be tuned in to the Lord, especially in the days we're living in. True. Amen?
Amen.
Well, there you have it. I'm Henry Gruver. We have materials there on the table. I don't sell. I'm not here to sell. I'm not a salesman.